Assistant Athletic Director for Athletic Communications at Tulane University. He's 18th year overall, serving in media relations, and does an outstanding job in managing and overseeing all aspects of the Tulane Athletic Communications Office. He's the point man for 16 programs and does whatever he's asked to do in great fashion. Tulane, of course, hosting Connecticut this coming Saturday night, 7 p.m. at Yulman Stadium. Please give a warm quarterback club welcome to Roger Dunaway of Tulane University.
Thanks, Kenny. It's great to be here. You know, every year I've been coming to this, I've always asked our coaches in the preseason, hey, look, can you schedule me after a win or after a bye week? You know, I don't think that's a lot to ask. Last year I had to come back here after a loss to South Alabama. That was a lot of fun. You know, we had a bye week this last week, so there was no losses for us last week. But again, it's great to be here. With the bye week last week, we were able to nurse some injuries, and we have some. Watch some film, clean up some of our mistakes, and then we had some solid practices. Now, despite our record, we've had some really good practices. CJ and his staff do a really good job with our practices. They just haven't translated what we do during the practice in the week into our games on Saturday. So that's something we're working on each and every day out of practice. Is try to, when you practice well, that's going to go to a game. Practice is the hard part. The game should be fun, as you guys all know. We're 1-4. 0-1 in conference play heading into this week's game against UConn. The game is at 7 p.m. at Yulman Stadium on ESPN News. This will be our first meeting against UConn, and it'll also be our first American Athletic Conference game at our new Yulman Stadium. Both Tulane and UConn are coming off bye week, so we really didn't get much of an advantage of having a bye week. Both teams have had time to prepare for each other. We're 1-1 at home this year. Our last game was almost a month ago against Southeastern Louisiana. We won that game, and then UConn is 0-1 on the road. Both teams are going to be hungry this week. They're both looking for their first conference win. We lost to Tulsa in the season opener in a double overtime affair, 38-31, and then UConn has lost to South Florida and Temple in their most recent game. So we're excited to get back to playing. You know, bye week's great, but it's just a lot of time in between. For me, you know, for the team, they get a couple days off. Coaches get to recruit, but it's always good to be back in game week. The story for our season so far has been youthful gains, and youthful mistakes. We have played 64 players this season, 64. 36 of those players are underclassmen, sophomores, redshirt freshmen, or true freshmen. And then 19 of the 36 have started at least one game. So, you know, when you play young players, some of them are great, but you're also going to have young moments when they make mistakes. So they're learning, they're progressing, and they're getting better each day. You know, you just live and die sometimes with young kids. You might remember when CJ was hired in December of 2011, he said he wanted to create a state of Tulane. In other words, make recruiting a priority, make the state of Louisiana the top priority. When he got here, we had between 35 and 40 players on our team from the state. This year, less than 3 years later, we have 70 from the state, including 21 just from the New Orleans metro area. So he's made some large gains. And the best thing is when you're looking around and you need a local player to talk to the media, national media, local media, you don't have to go very far because most of our team are now local natives. One of those I really want to touch on today because he's done something pretty special. He's an alumni and a standout at John Curtis, Sherman Beatty. Sherman Beatty is a redshirt freshman. He has already run his way into the record book. He has 3 runs this season of 70 yards or longer. He had a 90-yard run and a 73-yard run against Tulsa in the opener. And then our last game at Rutgers, he had an 86-yard run. So his 77.6 yards per carry is pretty good for a running back. And it ranks first in our conference and 7th nationally. He's done some great things. Now, 3 runs of 70-plus yards. We've had 120 years of Tulane football. That is the most by any one player. We've had several players, there's been some great ones, who've had 1 or 2, but nobody with 3 of 70-plus yards. Even Matt and Weldy, even going back into the 20s, 30s, and 40s when we were really dominant. And then finally, it's always rewarding when you see your student athletes do something and succeed off the field. And this is something that touches everybody. We had 11 players turn a class project into a really call to action with what's going on right now, both college but mostly professional sports, and that's preventing violence towards women. So they, on their own, created this video, and we've got a lot of publicity off of it, but that's not really what they were after. It's really the awareness and creating and pushing the awareness was the whole making behind the video. So they created a video. If you get a chance, it's very interesting. It's got a great message. You can find it on the Tulane Facebook page, Tulane Twitter, and then at TulaneGreenway.com. But these young men were tasked with this project and want to do something more than just getting a grade. And they've turned this into a big awareness campaign. Finally, as I do every time I come out here, if you haven't been to Yulman Stadium or to one of our practices, please come out. You're more than welcome. We practice Tuesdays through Thursdays. We start usually around 8:30, and we go to about 10:30. Our practices are open. Come see our stadium. Come see our team. You're more than welcome. And now with that, I'll take questions.
Yeah, Roger, two-part question. Some people have asked me to ask you about, first, I don't know why, but Tanner Lee. There's some interest in the audience here too.
There's some interest in our starting quarterback.
Yes.
Who happens to be from Jesuit. So Tanner got hurt in the Rutgers game in the second quarter. He took a sack. Has a bruised shoulder. He dressed last week, did not practice. So this week, starting last week, we are prepping all three quarterbacks to play Saturday. In other words, most of the time you give all your reps to your starter and a few to your backup. But this week, Nick Montana, Devin Powell, and Tanner will all get equal reps. And so, depending on what Tanner's health is, he's our quarterback. He's the quarterback going in the future. CJ's made no bones about that. So if he can go, he can go. If not, then Nick and Devin will be prepared to play.
And the other part is the stadium, Coach. The agreement with the city was that y'all couldn't have a high school game once a week. Do you think one day you'll be able to see Jesuit Holy Cross there or Brother Mark?
I hope so. Absolutely. How great would that be? Yeah, going forward, this year nothing has been planned, but going forward, hopefully next season, we'll play anywhere from probably 5 to 6 games on the road, at least 6. So there's 6 opportunities to have a great high school game, great high school rivalry at Yulman Stadium. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I wanted to check on a freshman that me and Skylar actually trained, Charles Jones. How's his season going so far?
He's really good. He's really good. He's a what I would call a precocious freshman. He's come in from day one, and unlike a lot of freshmen, he looks like he knows what he's doing, and he's played like it too. So, on our depth chart, if you look at our depth chart right now, he's our top tight end. So he's doing really well.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Well, hey, we have tickets available for Saturday's game, Seal game tickets. If you guys are interested, call the ticket office, 861-GO-WAVE. So more than welcome to come out, take in the game. We have plenty of tickets. This is our and they didn't have this when I was in college, but it's our fall break for our students. So we've got some extra tickets if you guys are available. If nothing else, good luck to our friends over at Jesuit and Holy Cross this week. Hope you guys have a great game. Thanks for having me.